Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rukal Kadash, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rukal Kadash, Brakatham. And I also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this. You're probably aware of Reading, where I'm from. It's getting even more risky to go out into the streets as the police are just everywhere, including the areas that I'm at. Of course, they're raiding down on the homeless here because as of car fire earlier this year, that has increased the homeless population. And it's in Reading, they really fucking hate the homeless. I mean, there's just no end to it. I just wanted to stop into Starbucks and plug in because I have an older laptop that doesn't hold a charge, right? So I look for the wall plugs. They don't have them there. Why? Because of their hatred for the homeless. And so it's hard to do that. It's hard to even get a charging port, if say that you just wanted to log in for a few minutes and look up some things while you're in town. Nope. Esau is just really restricting the city. So we know that, pretty much the next thing is this false flag. Which the reason why they've waited so long for the white helmets to stage this attack is because of course, the deal broker between Gomer and Magog, which was the put up. So that kind of stopped the false flag chemical attack from going forward. But now South Front reports that ISIS has seen chloride. So they're going to use this as a staged event for the white helmets to stage this false flag chemical attack in Idlib. As of October 10, which I believe was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. That was the deadline for all the militant groups to move their weapons into the demilitarized zone, which is a buffer zone because the Syrian Arab Army is about to retake Idlib from the terrorists. And so, of course, the main terrorist group is ISIS, which ISIS just represents all the terror groups, all one group, ISIS. And really, truly, though, they're the Taliban, they're the Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra Front, all the names that they want to stick on it. Also, Russia has made a move. Now, Russia's been doing this for some time. They're just now coming out with it that, yes, Russia is protecting Libya. They have S-300 systems and S-400 systems in Libya, Benghazi, and which are sending the terrorists into Syria. So he's just basically cutting off their supply routes, and protecting Libya, which the prophecy of Ezekiel tells you that. But also, what this all means, though, is that Esau Edom is about to be taken down. That's why Magog, is being raised up to take down Edom. So what are we to do in the meantime? Well, it tells us this here in Jeremiah chapter 49. Wail, O Heshbon, for Allah has laid waste. Cry out, O daughters of Rabbah, put on sackcloth, lament, and slash yourselves with whips. For Milcom shall go into exile, his priests and his attendants. Now, of course, you can look at what's going on in Syria, as well. And we're putting on the sackcloth that we're wearing in our garments, and we're going out there and prophesying against this place. And you have a huge refugee crisis that's manufactured, because this chapter also talks about the downfall of Syria, which is like the last battle before the Most High destroys Edom, because it's going to get into this. And of course, Syria's in mourning, because that's Aram, which is where the other language, Aramaic, comes from, And, of course, like everything else, though, Damascus has always stood as a kingdom, but many people have taken that kingdom and have, ruled from there. And now we're at the finalization of Damascus being taken away from city, becoming a ruinous heap. And so one of the bigger battles is going to be this battle for Idlib, because once that happens and they've liberated the Idlib province, then the terrorist groups are pretty much defeated, which I believe that this Damascus prophecy really has a lot to do with retaliatory, because, of course, you just had Nick Haley resign and she was a big-time spokesperson for the New World Order for Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump was uphailing her. But like everything else, though, they need new because they're just not able to sell the war like they used to. People ain't gone home for another war. They're fucking sick of the war. Look at the morale that's in Afghanistan now. It's like, well, bin Laden supposedly was killed in 2010, yet they're still out there policing Afghanistan, and the war just goes on and on. So, of course, the Edomites are losing faith in this war. They just ain't with it. They are not singing praise the Lord past the ammunition they did during World War II. Most Edomites, man, I'll tell you this much, because, of course, I'm here in Reading, and, I look like one of them, thus I'm being confused of face, so I actually look like one of them. And, so they happen to be in the downtown area, I'm prophesying against this place, against the evil powers that be, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and another guy is cheering me on. Yeah, right on, brother. Why? Because, let's face it, these Edomites hate their fucking government, and they know that the government doesn't give a flying fuck about them. There are a lot of people in the know, more so than what one realizes. But, of course, people are being hoodwinked into thinking, oh, well, we'll just get them in the next election. What if the Democrats take over and the Republicans and da-da-da-da? Caught in this malaise of thinking that there's going to be change. Oh, well, Nick Haley stepped down, so, we're going to have a new thing. Donald J. Trump, he's trying to clean everything up, and that's why the deep state wants to come against him. No, man, this is all a setup. It's a ploy, Hey, Shalom, Mark. Yeah, like everything else, though, let's see, what do you think about those who say the Vatican is Babylon? Okay, well, the Vatican is what you would call the part of the false prophet part. Okay, is part of the false religion, but the place where it was really brought to, I mean, we just got past Christopher Cologne, who really forced Christianity. Christianity was actually forced, but it was pretty much made manifest here in Babylon the Great, America. And so the Vatican, was just one of the places, and it's so small that it could never be Babylon the Great, So, yeah, this is just one of those things, though. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people out there that say it's the Vatican, that it's that Rome is Babylon the Great, because the 7 hills that are in Rome. But yes, it's ruled by the Roman system, and Roman Catholicism is like, the mother of all the religions, and that's why all the religions, they bow down before the Pope. But as far as this beast system, the system that's in place, because that's what the beast is, of course, the Vatican plays a very small role. The governments itself, the UN, NATO, is Babylon the Great. The only proof they have to Revelation 17, but that don't even make sense because Rome don't get seaports. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much the seaports. I mean, we could get into that just a bit, man. You just look at all the freights that come in, especially New York City alone. But I mean, there's ports all over South Carolina, North Carolina, all them ports. And yet these shipments go back on trucks, come all the way through. And not to mention great city. As in having many cities, because it goes into that. So of course, these Edomites, they just don't understand biblical prophecy, and they've been trying to break this down for years, or tried to at least, say that it's not this or that. That's why they don't call themselves Edomites. They call themselves, the Europeans. They call themselves the white people. Everything but. Esau would just rather say, well, we're Greek, or we're Italian, or we're French, we're the Spanish, but calling himself the nationality because he hides behind other nationalities when he takes over kingdoms. But this great kingdom that has ruled, they've been the hammer of the whole earth. It could never be the Vatican, So this hammer of the whole earth, pretty much the reason why they have delayed this staged false flag chemical attack in Idlib is because of the de-escalation zone. But now that that's over with, they're now about to roll that out. And that's why now South Front is reporting on this because, of course, they've really shut up news from Syria. You know, they recently blocked the Syrian TV channels, you know, the main place that we were getting that. And, you know, the same people who think all nations can be saved. Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah, because, and if you believe in Jesus, that we go to hell, you know, and that's just it, though. We know that hell is a condition, you know. And that's just it, though. This when we go out and we sing this new song on the streets, and the wicked, they really hate this song because this song really doesn't include them. It's our hope, but it's really not giving them a lot of hope because we're telling them straight out the gate that this new Jerusalem is consisted of the 12 tribes of Israel, and it's totally messing up their program. And most of all, though, they don't want to admit that this place, America, is Babylon the Great, even though you got every once in a while some people teaching it, which they could be just confusing the faith is still trapped within Christianity. That's neither here or there. Either way, Christianity has been a big time part of America, Babylon the Great, especially Christopher Columbus, because he forced the tribe of Ephraim and the tribes that were there on the island they forced them into Christianity, which is still why they still fly Caesar Borgia, you know, the false image, you know. But like, and of course, Syria has been a big part of that too, because that's Aram, and Syria, you know, still worships the image of Caesar Borgia, still is into Christianity. You know, Esau has defiled the whole world because, of course, this is his short time. He shall rule for a short time. And so, like everything else, though, he's about to come to his end, you know. You know, verse 4, Jeremiah verse 4. And this is a different take on it. I believe that this is the NLT or actually I think it's ASV, American Standard Version. So it's going to sound a little different than the King James Version that I'm used to reading. Why do you boast in your strength? Your strength is ebbing. O fearless, faithless daughter, you trusted in your treasures, saying, who will attack me? You know, these Edomites think that this kingdom's going to last forever. Oh, America will never get attacked. You know, they tried with Pearl Harbor, You know, then you had that false flag 9/11 attack, right? But that was the government, because the government's the enemy of the people. The greatest enemy of the people in America is the government itself. For some reason, my chat has now pretty much wiped out the comments, but I know that they're there. Sorry about, wait, there it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. Yeah, white people are the red, and blacks are east. Wow, that is a lack of that. Yeah, you know, speaking of which, when I first started coming into this truth, I had somebody get on my channel because I was just at that time before I officially became part of Great Millstone, in Revelation Times, which I don't have that channel anymore. And he tried to say that the Mormons created the so-called Black Hebrew Israelite movement. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't even make any sense. The Mormons say that Cain was cursed and became black. You know, so they try to say that. So how could they be the part of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, which we know that that's a false narrative anyways, you know, because, you know, the Mormons and what they're teaching, they teach that that blacks are cursed, you know, and that's kind of funny because of the fact that, you know, it didn't even make sense. But I had somebody, you know, comment on one of my videos about that. And that, you know, I was with you up until that point, until I started saying that the real Jews are what you like to call black people. You know, they came here in slavery and they're still in slavery till this day. And they just had. Yeah, going about 5 hours. Wow. But yet he won't even go out on the street and teach. Yeah, because if he did, you know, there'd probably be... He probably lives in an urban neighborhood, as they call it, and probably piss off a lot of people, and that's just it, though. I know what I'm saying, looking like an Edomite, but not being an Edomite, going out there and teaching, yeah, I'm pissing a lot of people off. I mean, I had somebody tell me fuck off 3 times. Somebody else said, stop what you're teaching, we don't want to hear that shit, because, man, this, it's just cutting, and then, man, she wasn't even expecting me to respond in the way I did, but I did say, you can't even pull off that false flag attack, because when I addressed Esau, I addressed the whole nation. I said, you can't even pull off the white helmet's false flag attack. Yeah, Syria's still there, and they're destroying your terrorists. Everybody knows that you are ISIS, She wasn't expecting to hear that. She was expecting to hear it come to Jesus moment. She probably thought that she was telling a Jesus freak to fuck off, because how serious are these Edomites about saving Christianity, man? They just, they're out there, and they're always putting up their pamphlets. She thought I was one of them. She found out later. I am going to bring terror upon you, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, from all your neighbors, and you will be scattered, each headlong, and no one to gather the fugitives. But afterward I will return the fortune of the Ammonites, saith the Lord Yahweh. And again, for right now, though, the Ammonites, they pretty much, they were taken down by Babylon the Great, that atom bomb. And so they're always in subjection to Babylon the Great because, of course, those 2 atom bombs that were dropped on them. But like everything else, though, who has the leading electronics in the world, that's kind of funny because Ammonites did get some power back, But like everything else, though, we know, though, that this place, Babylon the Great, Edom, well, starting verse 7, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is there no longer wisdom in Teman? Has counsel perished from the prudent? Yeah, every time, man, they only have a spokesperson up there for every 3, presidents can only make it for 8 years. Sometimes get replaced in the 4, and so they have to keep on changing their council of the Teman. Their council is always perished. They're the laughing stock. Donald J. Trump boasted about how great America was, and he was laughed at. Flee, turn back, get down low, inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him. The time when I punish him, if you would they not leave gleanings? If thieves came by night, even they would pillage only what they wanted. But these Edomites take everything, man. He was already receiving great gifts, And of course, I'm talking about Christopher Cologne, how he took down Ephraim. And that's another thing, is because it said the fortress shall cease from Ephraim, by the time Damascus is taken. And we know that happened when Christopher Cologne, it's talking about Edom, and we're, we're in that time now. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, if those who do not deserve to drink the cup still have to drink it, shall you be the one to go unpunished? You shall not go unpunished. You must drink it. For by myself I have sworn, saith the Lord Yahweh, that Basra shall become an object of horror and ridicule. And that's what America's become. They all laughed at America when Donald J. Trump talked about how great America was and, how he's done more in the last 2 years than any president in history. And they just all laughed at him. And he's like, well, that wasn't the response I was looking for. And an object of cursing, and all her towns shall be perpetual waste. Yeah, I mean, this car fire that just happened here, that's nothing as compared to what's about to happen here. Edom shall become an object of horror. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and will hiss because of all its disasters, as when Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbors were overthrown. And that's kind of funny. Chris Green, who always wants to sell you something, right? He talks about end times all the time. And he just said, is America about to be overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah? So these elites, they know these scriptures. And I'm going to jump down to verse 23. Concerning Damascus, Hamath and Arpad are confounded, for they have heard bad news. They melt in fear. They are troubled like the seas that cannot be quiet. Damascus has become feeble. she turned to flee, and panic has seized her. Anguish and sorrows have taken hold of her as a woman in labor. How the famous city is forsaken, the joyful town. Again, we know that this is going to take place not too long from now. Therefore, her young men shall fall in her squares, and all her soldiers shall be destroyed in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall devour the strongholds of Ben-Hadad, which Ben-Hadad, as we know, is the Syrian leader. So it means that Syrian leader, which we can pretty much say, I definitely believe it's in the time now of Bashar al-Assad, that it shall take down Assad, because we know that America, to end the war, World War II, which was set up by Esau also, they used the atom bombs on the Ammonites. And I'm just going to go ahead and read out of Isaiah 17, because we're talking about the same thing. An oracle concerning Damascus. See, Damascus will cease to be a city and will become a heap of ruins. Her towns will be deserted forever. They will be placed for flocks, which will lie down, and no one will make them afraid. The fortress will disappear from Ephraim. That's what happened when Christopher Columbus came over here. Pretty much Ephraim was the main tribe on the island, and yet, had pretty much been wiped out. And the remnant of Aram will be like the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. On that day, the glory of Jacob will be brought low, and the fat of his flesh. And it shall be as when reapers gather standing grain, and their arms harvest the ears, and as when gleans the ears of grain in the valley of Rephaim. Gleanings will be left in it, as when an olive tree is beaten, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the highest bough, 4 or 5 on the fruit tree, saith the Lord Yahweh of Israel. Verse 10, for you have forgotten the God of your salvation, and have not remembered the rock of your refuge. Therefore, though you plant pleasant plants and set out slips of alien gods, unfortunately, our people are still caught within Christianity, and still, these gods, Caesar Borgia particularly, in Rio de Janeiro, and just all these other places. Though you make them grow on the day that you plant them, and make them blossom in the morning that you sow, yet the harvest will flee away in a day of grief and incurable pain. And that's what happened, once, our people started following Christianity, and had broken away from what we were taught before. Now we've been born into this religion of Christianity. We thought it was, but the Most High had woken us up, But most of all, as we know, Esau is about to take Syria. They're going to do this false flag attack. Well, it says in verse 12 here, the number of many peoples, they thunder like the thundering of the sea. The roar of nations, they roar like the roaring of mighty waters. The nations roar like the roaring of many waters, but he will rebuke them, and they will flee far away, chased like the chaff on the mountains before the wind, and whirling dust before the storm. As evening tide to terror, before morning there are no more. This is the fate of those who despoil us, and a lot of them who plunder us. So pretty much, what's going to happen is, you see that this is the Valley of Yehoshaphat, and they were seeing that come to pass, and we're getting closer and closer to it. Christians don't know World War I and II are in the scriptures, Revelation chapter 9. Yeah, because they tried to say that, I had somebody comment about, Babylon the Great doesn't get established until the mark of the beast happens, and that's, the 5th trumpet. I had somebody try to say that, and I'm like, Oh, okay. So you think that the key to the bottomless pit is talking about that? You know, they so lack knowing the scriptures. Yeah, they also look at that. And of course, you know, they refuse to believe that 200,000 is talking about nuclear missiles. They think that this is an actual physical army because they lack so much. They don't even know that, what it's describing is the nuclear warheads, and they don't know how to link it to Joel chapter 2 or chapter 3 to figure out that it's talking about the powers in the sting of their tails. This nuclear war, Damascus, when that ceases to be a city, as Syria is taken, that's what causes Russia and the rest of the nations that are protected, and the EU, Europe, all of them, which are the 10 horns, to fire missiles upon this place. And in 1 hour, this place will be taken, as of the same time of the chariots, which we know the final hour is coming as they're pushing this mark. Because the only way that they could ever even come close to even coming against the Most High is to hurt his people. That is, to hurt his elect. And that's why they're trying everything they can to shut us down. Messing with our feeds. Yeah, exactly. These locusts pretty much are the Edomites that are causing this war. And they will be taken down by it. They've been blessed with the sword, but yet it will be their downfall because they were only allowed to rule with the sword for so long. So like everything else, though, we're just watching this, and this is just another step closer, to the rolling out the false flag. Esau can't even come up with a good lie. I forgot to get the verse that was in Jeremiah 49, but I think we all know it. For I have made Esau bare, I've uncovered his secret places. Of course, this is a different translation of it, but it's definitely there in the King James version. But everybody knows that the white helmets are about to stage this false flag chemical attack. It's not even considered what you would call conspiracy theory. Not when you got RT and all the other agencies reporting that. And they're having a hard time selling the whole fake news thing because, of course, they took down the Syria TV channels. They've taken down Alex Jones and all the other whistleblowers, as they call it. Yet there's evidence to prove everything. But that's what they're doing. They're still trying to control the narrative, and Esau's been made bare. He can't even control the narrative anymore because his own people are speaking against him. Like I said, as I was out there teaching, they thought I was one of them. They're like, yeah, right on, brother. Because they're tired of this war. It's an endless war that never ends, and they know it's just to benefit the bankers who don't give a shit about them. And that's when you see the downfall of kingdom, when the people are no longer in support, when they no longer believe, yeah, we the people. Yep. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. Maybe I'll just end it on that, since that's a good place to be. You turn things upside down. Shall the potter be regarded as the clay? Shall the thing made say of his maker, he did not make me? Or the thing formed say as one who formed it, he has no understanding? Exactly. Because that was not his gift. His gift was the sword, So there's no understanding in him. And like everything else, though, I often refer to it as flip the coin. Esau likes to flip the coin and say that the alternative news is fake news. Although CNN, Fox, and all that is fake news because everyone knows that the Sandy Hook was a fake shooting. Everybody knows that 9/11 was a staged event, Boston bombing. Yeah, Esau, Edomite don't know the scriptures. They don't have the scriptures. No, because it was never written in their heart. To know the scriptures. This is an encrypted book, and they can't figure out the combination. They can't figure out. Try to sound similar to us, but they have to try to throw their spin on it, act like they've always known that. Now some places are actually reading out of the Apocrypha, because they watch us and they're just trying to figure out a way to spin it, such as inaugurations now or funerals now, because of course Esau doesn't have it, so he has to find a way to steal it from us and put his own twist on it, because they can't do it by themselves anymore, because we've risen above Christianity against this false religion, against this false narratives. And most of all, though, we know that America is not the land of the beautiful, the land of the free, and that this land ain't made for you and me. We're past all that bullshit that we were fed when we was young. We got away from that Jesus juice, and we found the real Yahweh Shai. And we know who he is because the scriptures are right here. And Esau tries to go around the Revelations chapter 1, verses 13 through 15. He tries to get around that, but he can't dodge that, because no matter what, Caesar Borgia doesn't even come close to that. He does not have hair white like wool. He definitely does not have any of the other features. Yeah, exactly. Christianity has 2.4 billion. I used to say million, but it's 2.4 billion, and yet the world is in a fucked up place, and the Most High only needs 144,000. So I'll go to it. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Oh, okay. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road is easy that leads to destruction, and there are many who take it. The gate is narrow and the road is hard that leads to life, and there are few who find it. Exactly. And that's why, it's still good for the 2/3, yet they're going to be destroyed, but at the same time, they're going to wake up into the new kingdom. I just heard another brother teach that, So they'll wake up into the new kingdom where the Edomites will no longer be empowered, so they won't be given this doctrine of devils, They won't be so confused. And that's just it, though, is that confusion, which is a key name, because that translates to Babylon. Babylon the Great. They will no longer be born in Babylon the Great, having these false philosophies. They will no longer, because the scriptures will be written in their hearts, which is just something that Esau could never get. Yeah, exactly. Even if they go into their own theories, that less than 1% of Christians would have made it, when they get into that, because, yeah, you have Jehovah's Witnesses claiming to be the 144,000, which is a laugh on its own. Although I will admit, at least they tell you not to celebrate the holidays. So they got some truth, because in order to tell a lie, you have to have some truth to it to give it a spin. And that's what Esau's been trying to do for a long time, is to take the truth and give it a spin. You shall not surely die if you shall eat of this tree of knowledge of good and evil, which, adapted all these philosophies. You won't die. You will be godlike. That's how the serpent had tricked us to begin with, but it was also we could know both sides of it, so that way, well, it'd be written in our hearts to never, ever go back. Now having been on both sides of it, of course I will never go back to Christianity, because I know it's a false doctrine, And like everything else, though, I sure hope that this has been edifying. Everyone out there, I'd like to say, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Bashir Brakadash, Brakatha, and hope this has been edifying. And shalom to the hopeful elect.